Hi everyone, welcome back. Here is our June 21st tour. So it's been a couple weeks since the first tour and things are definitely growing. So I want to go ahead and show you what's new. So here, that's a lonely potato. I planted him late. These are the onions. They're getting quite a bit bigger and I've been harvesting a few green onions from there. Carrots, again, are getting really big. I didn't thin them as much as I should have, but my girls will pick those so fast that thinning just sort of happens on its own. Potatoes, again, getting real big. I've got red potatoes and russet potatoes, as well as a couple random potatoes that my husband gave me, so we'll see how those turn out. The tomatoes are starting to flower quite a bit. I've got them pinned up on these trellises. These help them not fall over. Lots of flowers. And there's a couple down here that are starting to fruit. So I think this is one of my Romas. This must be another Roma. And this is a 4th of July. These are the faster ones for the summer. So I've got lots of tomatoes here, and I usually use these for making sauce and for making salsa. So I have about 15 or 20 tomato plants every year. Here are the beans. The pole beans on the outside are starting to climb up those trellises. And down the middle here we have some of these. These are purple beans. They're really cool looking when they flower. They're purple, and when they are picked they're purple, but when you cook them they turn green. So my daughter Sammy really loves to pick beans off of here and just eat them right in the garden. So we planted a few more this year and probably even more next year. Here is my national pickling cucumber. It's the first time I've grown this one, but I've gotten a couple of cucumbers off of it already. The girls said they were pretty delicious, so that's good, and waiting for a larger harvest in order to make pickles. But lots of flowers on that plant, as you can see, and I have a little trellis for that. Here are my celery. This is the best celery crop I have ever had, and I don't know what I did different, but you can see kind of the stalks are nice and big and lots of lush greenery. So I like to make a lot of dishes that include celery. So I have 4 celery plants here. Hopefully that's enough for us, but we'll see. And then lots and lots of pepper plants. This is, I'm pretty sure this one is going to be a jalapeno. I didn't do a very good job at labeling my peppers this year because they all got switched around, but I'm pretty sure this is a jalapeno. You can see lots of flowers in there on this one. And then we got lots of other ones out here. I know for sure one is California Wonder. One is an Orange Blaze. That's this one for sure. That's my husband and my daughter Quinn's favorite. They like to eat them right out of the garden. So lots of pepper plants over here. And one of these is also a hot salsa mix, which means it'll either be a cayenne or a poblano. So those have always grown really well for us here. The zucchini plant got, just a little bit larger since the last time we looked. And there was a flower in there, and you could see a little guy starting to grow in there. Last year I had too many zucchini plants, and those were crazy. We had so much zucchini coming out of our ears, so I only grew one on purpose this year. Here are our watermelon again. So you can see there's a couple starting to form. This is about a baseball size. So we got one there. This is that original one I showed you in my first video. It's about the size of a grapefruit. Another one. Lots of little guys that are starting. So these watermelon I started inside because it takes a long time for them to grow. So thought we'd give them a head start, and they're doing a lot better this year. This is my 3rd year trying this too. And our cantaloupe here. Just gobs and gobs and gobs of flowers, but I'm not seeing any fruit yet. Seeing where the flowers have the fruit ready, but not yet. So hopefully soon on those we'll start seeing some. So like you can see here, here's a little guy. And then we have our broccoli over here. Some of these haven't even started to form a head yet. Some have. This one is starting to look good. I had to pick one already because it got so hot that it's starting to actually turn the petals. So you can see this one is starting to get some petals here. So we'll have to pick that one soon too. Over here, these are those mystery plants. I planted a whole bunch of squash and pumpkins up on the deck, and then the girls were playing, and I have no idea what's what anymore. So I just threw them out in the garden, thought, let's just see what happens. This one I'm pretty sure is going to be a pumpkin because of how it's vining out like that. But no flowers, no fruit. This one I'm pretty sure is a zucchini. Yes, it is. Look, there's a little zucchini on there. I hadn't seen that yet. So I guess we have 2 zucchini plants this year for sure. Beets have gotten quite a bit larger. They are showing a lot more green, but not seeing really any bulbs yet down at the bottom. Just kind of some little pieces. These are my golden beets. They're a little slower growing in my experience in this garden than the red ones are. Here's another one of those mysteries. I wasn't sure what it would be. And again, it's vining like a pumpkin would. So it's either going to be a carving pumpkin. We like to carve pumpkins here in the fall, or it's going to be a sugar pumpkin. I'd like to be able to get a few sugar pumpkins and be able to make pumpkin pie and stuff out of them. So these are the onions. These onions are the onions I planted the first year I ever gardened here, and I didn't find them all apparently, and they just sort of keep coming back, but I let them. And you can see a lot of these flowers on the top are about to bloom, and when they do, I will shoot a video showing you how I harvest those, and hoping to grow onions from seed next year that I saved from these. This is our wild dill that I planted 2 years ago, and it just keeps coming back. It grows very quickly, and it is, as it's called, a dill weed. It grows like a weed, so I haven't had to plant this ever again since that first year. This is another one of those, I wasn't sure what it was, but now I know it is a cantaloupe, and it's starting to vine out nice, and it's got lots of little flowers on it, but no fruit yet. These are a couple mammoth sunflowers that the girls planted just for fun. We'll see if those get big enough to get some seeds out of. Couple of corn that I had. I didn't have anything else to put here, so I put just a couple ears of corn over here. And this is one of my volunteer parsnips. I planted parsnips last year, and I didn't get them all up again apparently, because here's some coming back, and these are going to seed. And I think I'm going to let them seed and see if I can save seeds off of these. I've never tried that before. And there's another little one over here. It's not quite as big and not flowering yet. Here's another mystery plant. Again, we just threw them in wherever we could find spot for them. I'm not sure yet if this is going to be a zucchini or a pumpkin. More dill. It just comes up everywhere. Here is a cherry tomato that we planted. Lots and lots of flowers coming in on that. And then here's another one. This is a cherry tomato. This is where I grew cherry tomatoes last year. And you can see all of these little guys down here at the base. These are all volunteers that just grew from the seeds that I had in here from the tomatoes that fell. So that's kind of cool, and those grow. And then there's a much bigger, of course, plant that I intended to plant here. And just tons and tons of flowers on it. A couple of fruits starting to come in right there. Girls eat these right off the vine, so that's fun. Our pea plants have been shooting out at least a pint to a quart every single day of peas, and they are just delicious. So good. My girls like to come out here and just pick them off and eat them. Here is our 3 rows of corn. They were about knee-high last time I filmed. Now they are about waist-high. I guess I'm 5'8", so they're at least 3 feet tall or so. And here are my blueberries. Now, I've never really grown blueberries before. These are my first 2 plants. I've never seen such growth like this on them before. I am assuming that this is actual blueberry stems coming off of this plant. I'm hoping it is, so that it's bushing out and not just this one little center piece that I purchased. So I'm letting that go. Hopefully it is. If you know if it's not, let me know. Again, my first time trying. This one's got those couple little berries on it. Hopefully they'll ripen up. Here's my failed garlic bed. There's a couple little garlic in there, but changed it over mostly to carrots. And then last thing in the main garden is my butternut squash. I really love butternut squash. I put them up on this trellis here. It's just a short one, but it's right when you walk into my garden. And these have gotten big over the last couple of days. You'll see lots of buds in there, no flowers yet that I know of. Mostly happened overnight. So that is the main garden. I think we're at about 40 or 50 feet square on this garden. Brings in lots of yummy food for us. So that is actually my compost bin over there. I should mention that. That's where I throw all of my compost. I haven't been super successful in composting, but I did use some of it for this year for these raised beds that I have right when you walk in. So that has been really nice to have. So now we're on the side of my garage, and there is a flower bed or a planting bed over here from the previous owners. This house was built in the late 70s, early 80s, so it's been here a while. These are raspberry bushes. Now I have planted these raspberry bushes here, and I planted 3, but I'm going to show you that they have divided and conquered and multiplied and basically taken over this entire bed and they just keep going. So we always get tons of raspberries, and we usually get some here in the spring. So you'll see there's a lot kind of starting here on these plants. We'll get some now, but then I'm always surprised at the crazy amount that we get during the fall time. Those are the best. So just tons and tons of these. And in here, I did a bunch of picking yesterday, so they look a little sad, but here's my rhubarb. Always like to make strawberry rhubarb jam with these, and rhubarb cake is a favorite. So that was here when I got here, but delicious. And then what I wanted to grow down here that the raspberries are taking over are strawberries. So I have strawberries over here. This whole portion here with these larger leaves. I need to definitely get some mulch in here because you can see there's kind of a lot of weeds growing in with them, and even no matter how fast I pick. But you can see some strawberries starting to ripen up. I actually picked about 4 quarts the other day, and in those 4 quarts I was able to make 8 jelly pints. So we have 8 pints of strawberry rhubarb jelly already. You can see some of the strawberries in here. And they're not very big in this garden, particularly because I have some older plants. So I need to get some newer plants out here or allow them to kind of multiply so that I can get more. But that's why there's not very many strawberries out here right now. So that is the side garden. Over here in the front I threw out some just wildflowers. So you'll see a few purple flowers over here. And there's a couple of these, I can't remember what they are, but they're starting to come up. It takes them a while to pop up, but they're just these little flowers, little pink and shades of lilac color flowers. Up here on my deck I have a few plants that I recently purchased, and I like to keep plants up here that I have recently planted or I want to keep an eye on. So here, this is a blueberry bush. I cannot take credit for how big this is. I purchased it this size, but bought it just at a Menards on a whim because we love blueberries and those little ones weren't doing much. So here you can see a couple that are just about ready to be ripe and eat. But there's a bunch of fruit on this plant, so hoping in the coming years we'll get lots and lots. Here's a couple really blue ones. I bet Quinn and Samantha will find those in no time. This is a echinacea or coneflower that I planted from seed. I've had a really hard time getting those to start all on their own. So proud of the fact that I've got 3 growing in there. This is the first year I've grown nasturtium. I originally had it on a trellis, but took that trellis off and that kind of damaged the plant a little bit. So it looks a little sad, but some really beautiful flowers on this one. Just for fun, I wanted to try it since I see lots of people have it in their gardens. This is a huge pot of tiger eye sunflowers. They have not bloomed yet, as you can see. And most of you might be thinking, why are there so many in this one pot? Well, it wasn't supposed to be that way. I put some in here with my daughter Samantha, she's 2, and she decided to shove it off the side of the deck, and I thought we had lost all our seeds, so my other daughter Quinn and I planted some, and then they all came up. So we have tons in here, lots of buds but no blooms yet. This is one of my accomplishments. This is the first year I've been able to grow these from seeds that I saved. So very proud of that. Saved the seeds off of these. And we can maybe talk about seed saving another time too, because I have other seeds I want to go save. But they're really easy to save and there's so many seeds. I just recommend starting them indoors because I've not had very good luck planting them directly outside. These are my zinnia. I planted these from seeds I purchased, but I will be saving seeds from these this year. I want to plant these around kind of that electrical box area over by my other garden. They are really good when you pinch off a leaf that has died. They sprout out another zinnia. So you can see right here in the middle, I pinched off a dead branch there and it pushed out into two, and now I'm going to get 2 flowers out of that. So I really want to try these again next year. And this is a lavender plant. My husband loves lavender. I love lavender. I want to make something out of the seeds at the top here when they do get big. This is just a lady lavender that I purchased. I have tried growing lavender from seed. I have not been successful. It takes a really long time to germinate, so that could be why. And then this was something gifted to me by my mother-in-law. This is a cuttings from some grapes. So I've never had grapes, but hey, I'm not one to turn down free plants. Over here, you can see this is the remainder of what's left of the mystery plants. So I'm not sure what that is. I'm pretty sure this one is a butternut though, because it looks just like my butternut with that kind of whitish tone to it. So maybe I'll plant that one out. This is basil. It's really crowded in here, but what I do usually is I plant it and then I come out here and when I thin it, I use the basil to make something. This year I harvested all of my spinach out of my garden and I used it to make a spinach and basil pesto. It was super yummy, so got lots of basil there. And then here's another one of my projects. I don't know what I'm doing yet. I'm new to this. This is a lemon plant, and it is one that you can leave in the pot. And I purchased this at a nursery in my mom's hometown area. But it's just a lemon indoor-outdoor patio. I would leave this in the pot and then bring it in the winter because it'll get too cold for it in the winter. But it has some yellowing on the leaves. I think in either over or under watering it. So I'm currently in the process of trying to figure out which that is. But doing good so far. And then I wanted to just share with you this awesome area right next to my daughter's sandbox. We have all this milkweed that comes up, and I keep putting the seeds back down so they can come back. But the girls come over here and they like to take a look at the caterpillars that are on there. The caterpillars will plant their little chrysalises up here under the side of my gazebo, and the girls love to watch them grow. So another really cool part of my garden. All right, I had to come back inside. It's about 90 degrees out there and it's only 9 o'clock in the morning. So it's been a really hot week here in Minnesota, which maybe is weird to some of you who thought Minnesota was always cold. So it does get pretty hot and humid here in the summer though. Anyway, I just wanted to thank you for watching, and I will post another update soon. I also plan to post items about ways that I preserve these things out of my garden and ways that I use the things out of my garden. So thanks again for watching, and check in again next time.